Hello everyone, T-Dub here, and welcome back to more Mystical Ninja, starring Goemon. In the previous part, we finished Castle number 2, the Ghost Toy Castle. And now we're back in Zazen Town. Once again, we'll be doing that maybe a couple more times during this playthrough. This has kind of become our hub area, but the main reason we needed to return here is that our next exit is through here. See that door? When I've opened beforehand because this kid is the only one who could open it. See, he even admitted it was him who locked it. But now he fixed it, it is openable, and we can leave. And of course his name is Dancing Owl Knight. Oh, Japan, you do love your puns, don't ya? Oh, don't ya? Yeah, I don't know why I lingered on that for so long. I guess I was just so taken aback by just how bizarre that pun was, or just, I was like, really? That's the best pun you come up with? For real? For really reals? By the way, this is one area where I think it'd be very easy for first-time players to get lost, because there's a lot of different sort of exits you can go through. So just pay attention to your surroundings, and you should make it out fine. So the main reason that we're venturing out over here is to get a couple of batteries for our Robo Buddy Sasuke. Once we do that, he'll be right as rain. And now one of my cats is behind me. Hello, Cloud. How you doing? Sometimes cats, they just want attention. And this song that's currently playing isn't too shabby. Not my favorite song, but it's, it gets the job done, I think. And now we're going to go to an unexpected area. Go through this door, and what do we find but a desert? And last year I looked this up. There is at least one desert in Japan. So they have a desert, they have wintry areas, they have just the whole biome over in Japan, much like here in the United States. But I guess you wouldn't expect a place like Japan to have so many biomes. This is another location that, especially for first-time players, can be easy to get lost in. That's actually quite a few areas now that I think about it, including the next castle we'll be visiting. That's an area where it actually took me quite a few playthroughs to get used to the layout of. And you'll see why once we reach it. But before we get that battery, let's get ourselves a fortune doll. Alright, we got Sasuke's #1 battery. Yeah, I decided to cut out all the backtracking right there. No real sense in showing all of that, since you've already seen it. And I don't really have anything meaningful to say over that other than deserts. They're a bitch. I can only say that so many times while being entertaining. I say that as though any of my commentary has been entertaining. Ha! I am very self-conscious about my entertainment value, if you can't tell. But oh well. At least this is something to entertain me, because I have a feeling that these videos, their view counts, probably not going to be the best. I'd be surprised if they enter the double digits, honestly. I imagine it's just going to be me and maybe a couple of friends watching these, but if that's the case, then that's fine. And now we have more NPCs giving us hints as to what we should do next. And that's basically what NPCs were used for a lot of the time back in the day, giving players hints. I know I talked about this in a previous part, but if you're ever confused on what to do, you can just talk to several NPCs, and eventually they will point you in the correct direction. You have to go up this hill right here. There's a lot of hills and mountain climbing in this game. And again, considering the location, I suppose it makes sense. It all fits. Now we are going to want to be Abisumaru for this. After all, that girl did tell us to take a picture for her. And thus we shall. And there it is, Sasuke's other battery. Now, I don't know about any of you viewers, but in my head, whenever I hear the word battery, what I immediately think of is the Metallica song. But more specifically, Battery by Metallica as covered by Van Canto. Which, for those who do not know, they are an a cappella metal band. Sasuke is alive! Ah! There's a lot of blue in this scene. Blue sky, Abisumaru's blue outfit, Sasuke's blue hair, blue eyebrows, and are those blue or green eyes? I cannot tell. Ooh, talking about his wise old man. Now, who wants to tell him? I do like that they give Sasuke a little bit of animation back there, as well as this hopping motion. Alright, and now Sasuke is now an official part of our team. Officially! However, we do not want to switch to him quite yet, as he is too short to walk in this water, and you'll just end up swimming, which is much slower. Alright, and we're walking, and we're walking. And that skybox is very obvious by this point right here. Can only do so much of that with technology of this era. Some cracks are just going to show. Especially with high-definition televisions and recording devices. I don't even think that developers on the Nintendo 64 could even foresee the idea of capture cards being used. Also, this is probably the quickest I've ever gone through this area because I almost always inevitably take a wrong turn somewhere, end up going around in a circle, but somehow, someway, I was able to get through this relatively quickly. See, I noticed that during this playthrough I didn't really use the Abisumaru that much. And that was while going out of my way to use him as well. He is just not one of the more required members. He is definitely one of the more, I guess, tertiary ones. I'm pretty sure I used Goemon the most, followed by Yai. Then, I don't know who I used more, Sasuke or Abisumaru. I do like this sort of green mountainy area over here. And that's the one thing I really enjoy about this game, is that each location is very distinct. Like, you could basically show a screenshot of any area in this game and you'll know exactly where it is. Now we're Sasuke. We're going to need to use him, actually. Oh, Cloud. What do you want, little buddy? Little cloudy cloud. Wanting attention. If any of you own a cat, then you know this feeling. Cats always want attention. All the time. Well, anytime they're not sleeping, essentially, they want attention. Anyways, one of Sasuke's weapons is a firecracker bomb. You can use this to open doors that are cracked. Like so. Super easy. Now we're going to enter our third castle. Yeah, like, we got finished with our second castle in the previous part. Now we're all ready to castle 3. This game is very bizarrely paced sometimes. But you know what? I don't really mind. It keeps you on your toes. On your tippy toesy. Anyways, this soundtrack, the soundtrack to this castle is both me and my best friend's favorite in the entire game. Just because it's so catchy, especially once we reach the second and third version of it, later on in the castle. Also, this castle features the most amount of backtracking. Now, I did cut out the actual active backtracking, but you'll still notice it. I think overall, I may have cut out like a good 5-6 minutes of footage from this castle alone, just because there is that much backtracking in it. Like, as you can see there's a silver door, but we do not have this silver key yet. So we're going to have to retrieve that. And you even saw a locked door over there that we do not have the key for. It's crazy. They put all these locked doors right in front of you that you just can't open yet. And I know there are a lot of people that enjoy that design. Like, some people swear by it. Like, for them, if a dungeon is linear, then they hate it. But if it has all these locked doors up in front of you and you can only open one at a time, you have to constantly backtrack to one, then the other, then the other, then the other. And that's their jam, which, if it is for you, perfectly fine. Me, I've always preferred a more linear approach. Here we go. Music is starting to kick in. It's starting to really kick into gear. So damn good. It's so good! By the way, there we go. I'm gushing over the music again. So take a shot, I guess. Please don't, though. Do not poison yourself with alcohol just because of a dumb drinking game. Definitely not on my account, because I do not drink alcohol. I drink pop. Pop, water, and energy drinks. And on the very, very rare occasion, tea. I can just never get used to the taste of tea. I don't know, from the time I was a baby boy to the time now that I am an adult, it's just not a taste that I can jive with. And yes, I know that makes me weird, but hey, that's me. I'm a weirdo McBeardo sometimes. So yeah, that, look, I cut out all of that. We had to go all the way back here. Oh boy. Now if you go into that building in the center, you can get an optional item for Abisumaru, the meat saw hammer. Completely optional item. So I'm going to skip it because it doesn't really do much of anything other than give you extra health from enemies, but we don't really need that. Now this room is interesting. I have no doubt that if they ever remastered or remade this game, this room would be patched. Because this room features a notorious glitch of sorts that we'll see momentarily. Oh, now the music's really stepping up. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Yeah, those flying enemies, they can be a bitch, but what's not a bitch is this item, the kunai of severe cold! Which is yet another weapon that Sasuke has which uses up money. Now, normally we're going to need an ability from later on in the game to go over that fence, but with proper placement, we can just leap right on over. And we're basically just doing this to get a fortune doll. Now, I said I wasn't going to go out of my way to get them, but I just say, you know what, why not show off a fun little glitch here? Just a fun little, as a treat. Let's hop our way up this ladder. Here's me going the wrong direction, realizing it. Ugh, gotta love when that happens. Also gotta love the camera of the 90s. I don't think we got really good proper camera movement in video games until like the Xbox 360, PS3 era video games. That's when we really perfected the art of camera movement in video games and our ability to control it. So there you go, we had to go from there all the way back to the beginning of the castle. Oh boy. So we reached one furthest point all the way back to the beginning. Like I said, this castle has a notorious amount of backtracking, more than any other in the game. And once again, I know some people are all about that. They love just going from here to there to yonder to everywhere in between. But once again, that is just not my style personally. So as you can see, this kunai of severe cold can freeze hot platforms. It can also freeze enemies. But I'm not going to show off that part because I'm a bit of a Scrooge in this game. Most of the time. Now, when you want to freeze these platforms, the last thing you want to do is jump before throwing it because you're going to want to jump on top of these. And if you have to jump in order to reach it with a kunai, that means you're not going to be able to reach it with a regular jump. My accuracy is so perfect. Oh, I do show off the ability to freeze enemies. So yeah. It is about as powerful as just a regular kunai, unfortunately. It doesn't have that extra power. Kinda wish it did. Would have made using money on it worth it. Also, there are kitsune here which breathe fire. Thankfully, I was able to avoid them. And our main reason for going all the way over here is for the gold key. But first, let's get some money! Kind of a bitch to get hit by those, but it was worth it because we got paid. Now there's a very good reason I'm going out that specific exit. One of those is to get a fortune doll, but not a silver one, but a golden fortune doll. Which basically acts as a heart container in the Zelda game, so our health is now automatically increased by 1. And of course we got plenty of money. And believe it or not, we're already almost at the end of this dungeon. I would say if I didn't cut out the backtracking, it's probably the longest in the game. Like, the backtracking makes this take well over 20 minutes. And I can only imagine how long this would take with someone who doesn't know their way around, especially like if you're going to do this on your first time through and you're not familiar with the layout, like what keys go to what doors. Because you have to remember, okay, the silver door is over here, the gold door is over here, and you have to keep that in mind. Now, to me, this is the most memorable set piece in the whole castle, in my opinion. Because it is a genuinely large room, especially for a Nintendo 64 game. Like, you really gotta remember, like, when N64 games load up the RAM, you can only load up so much in a given area before, you know, it just can't handle it. Especially pre-expansion pack. I know, like, once, you know, the expansion pack was released, games like Majora's Mask and like Donkey Kong 64, they were able to load in much larger areas than most other N64 games. Oh, I would have been so annoyed if I fell all the way down. I would have been, that would have made me just go, ooh, I'm so angry. Thankfully, I did not have to go through those emotions, and I just had very, very mild annoyance. However, getting back on topic, it's still kind of a miracle they are able to make a room this large, all able to be rendered at once. I think this actually might be one of the larger areas in the entire game, when you account for the height of the room. I'm almost certain that there's somebody out there way smarter than me that can measure the size of the different rooms in Mystical Ninja and discover that for themselves. Now you think after all that we'd be ready to fight the boss, but no, there's still one more room left. I think this room is kind of unnecessary. However, that is just me. Alright, now we're going to go fight the boss. This is the ghost robot Tsurami! I believe this is based off of the type of ghost that's... Oh man, I know I've heard this story before, of this type of ghost where it's like an old woman who was trying to sell her dishes or something? Something to that effect. It's been so long since I've heard this story. But I know that this is based off of like an actual like folk bit of Japanese folklore, which actually a lot of enemies in the Goemon series are. It's kind of interesting, like they're all based off of different like ghosts and yokai. So our main objective here is just to hit the red plates back at the boss. Do that enough times and we win! Every time there's a bit of a camera angle change there, that means we are progressing! We've entered a new stage, and this one is Rapid Fire! Ah! I remember as a kid, this boss gave me the most guff. This is the one I had the most problems with, which is why, as a youngin, I would always make sure to find as many fortune dollars as possible to load up on health, as well as get, like, armor and a rice ball. That's the one thing I never show off in this game, I don't think, is the rice ball mechanic. So, if your health ever depletes to 0, your character will eat a rice ball and come back to life. It basically acts as a fairy in a bottle from Zelda. That is a mechanic I use far more often in this game's sequel, Goemon's Great Adventure. Not nearly as much here, because for me, 3D platforming much easier than side-scrolling platforming. And now we enter the final phase, Armageddon! And after we defeat this boss, Armageddon out of here. Oh yes, I got jokes for seconds. Now these things are actually far easier to avoid than they appear. I say that as I get hit by one. However, I remember as a youngin' just running all over the place and panicking because you just see these plates flying all over the place, but if you actually pay attention, super easy to avoid. And as soon as I say that, I got hit again. Oh boy, did I even pay attention while I was recording? I guess not. Nevertheless, we win! Somos campeones del mundo. Now we got the Miracle Star.
Ooh.
Oh, and this guy's name is Sharon. Sharon! Sharon! Bloody hell. The fuck are you doing over there, Sharon? And now we get to meet our other antagonist. And now we have the name for our other antagonist, Kitty Lily. Well, I suppose in certain contexts, Goemon's makeup might make him look a bit like a clown. Cloud, what do you want? Cloud? Please stop distracting me while I'm trying to entertain the world! And by the world, I mean the 12 people watching this. But you know what? I appreciate you. I think it's for people that get like millions and millions of views, it might be easier for them to, you know, sometimes take their viewers for granted, but me, nah. By the time you're watching this video, I will have officially been making videos on YouTube for 19 years, if you can believe that. However, we'll discuss that topic more in the future. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you all next time.